Oh, yeah. Okay. Um, well, it's CW, the artist, back with a third video of this night. And it's actually, time is it? It's something like, ooh, what time is it? And what, yeah, I don't care. But somewhere around, I don't know, 3 a.m. probably. But, yeah, it's CW, the artist, back with more of his book, my book, because that's me. This is my book. I'm gonna read it. It's, this will be chapter 3. And this chapter is chapter 3. This chapter has an office building. No, it doesn't have an office. I'm just remembering what I just read. Well, this chapter has an illustration. I'm going crazy tonight. But anyway, here's the illustration. Yeah, my mouth itches a bit. But yeah, this is the illustration. Somebody's been hurt at some point, but that's okay because he deserved it. He's still alive. He went to the hospital and he got bandages. So he's okay. Maybe his feelings are hurt, but he got what he deserved. He's kind of a creep. You'll hear about it. Chapter 3 of Double Grape. Drink it now. Oh, wait, why am I... Wrong hand. Anyway. Before John was admitted, he was a sanitation worker. The Pacific Sanitation Union, or PSU, is a government-integrated contracting agency commissioned for long as they can to provide their services to upkeep public health factors in the Pacific Federation. Mr. Albertus is currently going through the necessary paperwork for unobligated termination of his positions in the PSU workforce. The plan for new inmates at the MIC is to examine their long-term behavior and overall health over the course of no less than 2 years, and the facilities thereof are adequate to meet this requirement for all inmates. His position at PSU was mainly on a chair bolted to the very end of a trash-mashing vehicle, and included the space in which garbage bags of varying stability would be transported from their curb to the trash masher. Now he is considering the possibilities of work in the complex. As soon as he is finished filling out a bit of thin plastic paperwork and watches it enter the fax machine, he is prompted with brochures from a fat old human. "If you have a calling to do at least something," the man said in a welcoming tone, "you might think about volunteering at any of these places around the city, or take an opportunity where you can get one. We encourage it." No cars are seen along the streets. There are plenty of children, adults, and the elderly alike, riding on bikes, boards, skates, or anything handmade by inmate craftsmen and curators. Their weirdos can work, let alone live, in their comfortable manner. As with plenty of historical mental institutions, there are several artist types of all kind about, as well as those who volunteer to lend a helping hand to the staff members who have plenty of work to do on the ground in the streets. In the residential blocks, weirdos can bide their time with a canvas and paints, as others can be seen participating in the assembly of new modular building installations, or even working together to build their own small place for something in the category of ride shops, restaurants, galleries, lounges, barber shops, haberdasheries, and any acceptable addition to the lively scenery of the street. These weirdo-created additions have only become acceptable in the past years since 2102, and have seen some development with the limited amount of resources available to the inmates, such availability growing from then on to now. As well, there is a limited amount of space with which to work, not made any less finite with the passing of each day. John Albertus has now achieved a job as a cook behind the counter of the Jacked Cactus. a restaurant near the center of the city, on a street running from the center tower to the Arboretum. The large modular high-rises stretch to the first level of other modular building structures, stretching from one edge of the city to the other. Wait a second. Bless me. Each side of every building is sided with durable reflective strips of recycled industrial material. At night, John watches them light up as he walks back to the mission and elevates up into his block. As he gets to his room and starts up his cheap electronic reader, bright lights fill the foggy air. The stretch of the city through which John walks is almost straight from the center of the tower, the center tower, past the Arboretum and down to the mission. Taking that route by air is a low, warbling siren from a bright blue chopper. On the roof platform of a high-rise, one of the only two fitted with white panels and beams, in contrast to the varnished raw composite and steel of many other structures, lands a reflective blue emergency treatment transport, fitted with glowing red strips along its nose and hinged boom. The vehicle is mounted with pressure-locking tracks, which now secure it and the passenger's safety. John thinks back to the petty argument he saw going down whilst he walked back from the restaurant. A human male and canid female were seen by many passers-by to be disputed over a vague personal matter. Many looked and spoke as if they had to agree with the woman, based on their having become acquainted with her. No one really anticipated such an interaction between she and the other. The word from the patrons of the Jacked Cactus is that the young woman had been staying in her quarters on more occasions than usual, and that the man was seen around her block, though his is not in the area. Eventually, John catches a few raised decibels of exclamation contained within their conversation, but never discovers anything about the two concerned individuals. The argument in the street that night left the poor, sad man with a scratched cornea and dislodged jaw, a problem only accessible by the mutually insured services of emergency treatment offered by the MIC administration. Since his admission in May of 2113, John saw absolutely no trouble about the tiny universe into which he became integrated. He had been warned about the dangers of disobedience and its consequences by those staff assigned to process his admission, but never actually seen any true examples, and not even enough of this one to now understand what it might really be like. Luckily, he has no plans to do any kind of damage or cause any sort of trouble. He merely wants to engage in the great big community in this institution by frying chicken and whipping up a po' boy on a fine August morning. "And there it is," he says, after exchanging a chip scan for a tray of sandwich. "Hey, you're that girl who was in that street spat a few days ago. What's going on?" "Ah, well," the reddish-furred person sighs. "The guy was a creep. Just needed to show him a little bit of what he was after so badly." Yeah. Was that the chopper carrying him I saw? I walked home pretty fast, and that's how quickly it went down." He stands aside to allow a staff member to approve the chip inside the girl. Her ears soften and pull back as she tactfully sits down at the counter with the trayed chicken. "You look somewhat new, are you?" Page turn. Yeah. Going on a few months now." He eyes her left paw, patting the open bar stool next to her, nose glistening, shoulders inward. "What gives it away?" "You smell funny," she admits. The sweet sound of her giggle fades away in the din of the restaurant, as it sticks in John's mind and body, now located adjacent hers. I can't stop thinking about it. Timothy is sitting alone in his room, playing with a pile of computer components. He plans to build a $1,000 gaming laptop out of the available parts. The display-ready standardized case is white, like the new sheets on his bed, 2 inches thick, and equipped with complementary card extender cables power cables in many lengths, and teeny tiny zip ties. These expensive components are made easy to assemble, in contrast to the century and a half during which information technology evolved. 100 years ago, this power would be available in large standards and used only for network data processing. Now it is used for gaming, the honorable tradition of entertainment's past. Chinese satellites and space station servers process most of Earth's data traffic and storage. Lots of it from the early 21st century was deleted, including piles and piles of memes, normal and dank alike. Networked nostalgia has been almost obliterated, save for soft drink advertisements, compensation alerts, and similar such things. The video games that Timothy plans to run on the little system require at least 8 gigabytes of video memory, which are active externally from the board by way of the extender cable, allowing for the card to be stored in more than one position based on its size. Timothy can only fit the 1-inch thick card into the one position and secure it ever so carefully, since that much video memory is all that may belong in a laptop, for now. The board comes ready with 16 gigabytes of memory and an 8-core processor with a fan. The tiny solid drive snaps right into its slot inside the board and mounts to a heatsink. All the power connections are made to the board, card, and case fans. He's connected the interface and is seating it over the assembled components, while the next door demon operates his cheap, durable electronic literature Turner device. The Turner digital bookcase is a tablet designed for the download, storage, and viewing of EPUB and MP3 files. All Turners are only available with a matte colorless display and an audio out jack, making it contrast greatly with the multiple high-definition and virtual reality ports on the dog's fat custom machine. Timothy sets up a newly standardized multi-interface capable gaming system, and John digests a classic war novel at no expense to his vision quality. The sun sets on the big screen around the city, and the lights in all the buildings begin switching on. The night is digital. And that's chapter 3. That's chapter 3 of Double Grape. Drink it now. I knew there was something about that chapter, but I can't remember what it was. I just read it. Anyway, I like reading what I wrote. And I hope you like listening, This has been CW, the artist. Yeah, I don't do fancy. I don't do the hey guys, what's up? I ain't a nutcase.